Welcome to another episode of Rebounding from Career Setbacks. The intention of the series is to walk you through experiences one may encounter after a setback, and these are specific to our job and career. Also, through this series, you may understand what could be the areas that usually keeps us stuck when we experience career setbacks and the best ways to find a way out of these issues. Our today's story revolves around a sudden dismissal from the job, something very frequent and common in the corporate world. Meet David. He has been working on a very challenging project for past several years. He has given his several years of his life to the project, bringing the project to its fruition. However, with the change in leadership at the other end, it was at the client end actually, there were many new changes introduced into the project, including a, a plan where there was a proposal to reduce the resources and the staff on the project. And when this was proposed by the change of leadership, David found himself to be one of those people who were part of that list and were subjected to a mass layoff. This was something which he never dreamt even in his worst dreams. Oftentimes, people like David may not really foresee changes like this and may simply work ignoring this particular aspect of a job where this is quite possible. Now, even being part of a project which went on for such a long time, there can come a point in our lives where we get so fixated on the job, the client, the people, our commitment, our loyalty, and our entire energy is flowing only to ensure that we are able to resolve something, that we may ignore some other unsaid subtle nuances or subtle challenges in a given project. So in case of David, when there was a change in leadership, what David failed to really realize was that the new leader had a completely different strategy towards that project which they've been successfully running for the past several years. But within that strategy, since this was a new leader, his priorities, the way he would wanted to turn things around were very different from the way David perceived the project as. And over a period of time, when David failed to sync up, he found himself to be one of those who were laid off along with several others. Friends, one thing that we really need to pay attention to, specifically in our job, whether it's someone like David who's working on a project for several years, or anyone in any given job, pay attention to things around you. Oftentimes, there are a set of category of people very similar to David who would be more inclined and more committed towards their meeting a goal or getting things done. Wherein, as you move up the ladder in your corporate life, you really need to be aware of not just the things to get done, but also about stakeholders, meaning the people who are very, very key in a given project, the project sponsors, the people who are behind the strategy, the new leaders, and we really need to be in sync with the vision they hold. Oftentimes, when people do not really find themselves being aware of all these changes, they are subjected to the sudden dismissal, what was David was experiencing. Because as we move up the ladder, what really got us here may not necessarily be the thing that will take us ahead. There's a lot more in a corporate environment, in one single project, that one needs to think through and move ahead. And it's not just merely work. So in the case of David, He was so focused on his work that he failed to see any other thing. Perhaps he even failed to pay attention to the feedback that he was given or to the way he was perceived by the senior leaders. So, not having really paid attention to those key important factors, because now David was entering into a more senior cadre, David found himself at a list which he was not really ever imagined in his worst dreams, and he was fired from the job. After being fired, David was going through a deep trauma. The trauma was so powerful that it shifted his priorities significantly. Initially, what he thought was not a problem now had turned into something that has kept him in a constant state of worry and stress. Even though after the job, when he was laid off, he found another one in a course of time, and he was again managing a project, a challenging project, and he was doing really well. But this trauma, the whole experience of being laid off, the sudden dismissal, refused to leave David even several years after that episode. So, friends, what I would like to bring to your attention is when we go through a major setback in our careers or in our jobs, the trauma does not go away so easily. We may find another job, but that does not mean that deep down deep down everything has been healed. The anger, the humiliation, the stress that one goes through, specific to the case which we just saw of David, actually lingers on. And that's perhaps the reason why a lot of people often feel and have low self-confidence and low self-esteem even after reaching age and experience to be a competent leader, but they struggle to be one because they've been still carrying the trauma of the past. And these traumas, if not properly processed, can actually even hinder your career growth. So this was exactly David's state. This was not just immediately after he had lost his job, but this stayed with him for a very long time. Even after he was employed in another project, in another firm, he went on to do more such challenging projects. He went on to work and deliver a lot. Yet this state refused to, kind of leave him. Our coaching journey together was a very interesting one. One of the core and key life skills that I helped David learn was how to be more resilient. Because oftentimes setbacks are failures that we've already encountered. There's nothing much that we can do about it. But what we can actually really plan out is to first thing is to learn and adapt ourselves to the best coping mechanisms when we encounter any career setbacks. That's exactly what I taught David in our coaching journey. Then besides this, there was a lot of concepts on flexibility and adaptability specific to a future plan that one may create. Because once you go through a major career setback, it's not really easy to pull oneself up and get ready for uh, another such setbacks. So to avoid that, what could be the right measures so that one may not really be so vulnerable and weak? That was one of the things that was part of our entire coaching journey, to create a plan, one, to cope in the best ways, second, to prepare in case of any such thing might occur in the future, because neither we control the past nor our future. What we could control is our present, and in the present moment, I help David learn and understand the best ways to be more resilient so that he he just doesn't lose out on his life or on his overall well-being just with that one career setback. And oftentimes it does happen that career setbacks kind of lingers on and can nag somebody for a very, very long time. So friends, this was a brief and a short story about David. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. Here are my coordinates, and you can connect and reach out to me, and I'll connect with you soon.